Chapter 29, Twisted Realities. "I need your help, Blake," said Pip. "There is no loophole for that. He is your patient, and you cannot date him or sleep with him. I will personally get your license suspended," said Blake. "Not about that, you psycho." She let out a sigh and continued. "Per your instruction, I was supposed to get Ben to talk about things that might be hidden. Instead, he just walks up to me and pours out all this information that could be made up, twisted, and now I think I know less than I did before. Or Sam might be Dale Layer the Slayer, and I'm wondering how she's hiding her limp." "What the hell are you talking about, crazy woman?" Pip briefed Blake on how the conversation went. "So I guess the charming guy is now turned to alarming in your eyes, hopefully. I thought I'd lost him for a moment when I suggested that Sam might have tricked him with her imaginary friend and a fabricated childhood story. But then he bounced back, confidence in his eyes, ready to prove me wrong. His expression practically said, 'Game on.' Blake had to ask, what is it about bad boys that makes them so attractive? Well, I can only speak for myself, but I know all too well the grip of low self-esteem. Bad boys, they're natural hunters with an uncanny ability to sense your weaknesses and wield them like a spell, drawing you in. They make you feel like you matter, as if no one else in the world could ever see you the way they do. They, they carry with them an enchanting, imaginary universe. And when you're drawn close enough, you're no longer invisible. You become the queen of that world. But then, just when you're lost in the illusion, they trade you in for someone new, someone not necessarily better, and leave you shattered, betrayed, and more invisible than before. It's all fun." Blake nodded. "So poetic. I don't get it, though." "Come on, Blake. Please don't give me those cliches about women's brains. You know how endorphins work." "No, I'm talking about you. I don't understand how a highly intelligent and beautiful woman who lights up any room with laughter and joy can be so deceived. Not to mention, you're a highly trained psychologist, yet you still fall for someone who only pretends to care." Pip listened intently, her expression carefully crafted to look like she was analyzing every word. Then she said, "Yup, sounds about right, and thanks for the compliments, but you were so sincere and truthful that they didn't even land. Sorry." She turned and walked away, leaving Blake with a big smile on his face. No matter how much she pretended to be silly, she still managed to amuse him. It was incredible to think that this was the same woman who had turned her life around and become the amazing person she was today. On the drive back, Sam finally managed to break the silence. "Today's session was mainly a waste of time. I think they might have run out of ideas. Where have you been, by the way?" "I went out for a cigarette and saw Pip in the corridor. We had a short chat about my family history. You know, genetics and all that crap. I thought we already covered that part. She wanted more details, I guess. She might want a baby with you. That's why she's so curious. Then she'll be very disappointed with my swimmers near retirement age," said Ben. Ben was really preoccupied with the embarrassment he caused today. First step, he needed to see Jessica with his own eyes. "Are you having any plans with Jessica this week again?" "Very possible. You know all the shit she has been going through." Sam was stoked. Finally, the time had arrived to catch him in action. "You told me she's been having a hard time recently. Why don't you invite her over for a change? We can have some dinner together, and she might have some fun with us. Seeing Jenna will cheer her up for sure." "She's not in a good place for seeing new people." "What is going on with her, by the way?" "She doesn't like going to other people's houses, I've told you before." "You're telling me she doesn't like to be catered to, looked after, and socialized? Didn't you say she's a hippie or something? Aren't they supposed to be nice?" "Don't be such a cliche. She won't come over because dining is too passive for her. Sitting for hours and stuffing your face at the table is not her thing. She doesn't drink, and I don't know how to make any vegan food. Then plan something outdoorsy with her, hiking or camping of some kind." "Are you going anywhere?" It was getting too obvious for Sam that Ben was trying to get rid of her. "Not really. I can stay home with Jenna if you want to have some alone time, but we also like to join you." "Is it something the doctor prescribed? New ways to annoy me? You think I didn't consider any of these? I know her better and I help her the way she wants me to help. I don't plan for her and neither should you, period." I just wanted to show my support, didn't mean to give you any advice. That was enough to silence Ben for the night, and he realized he needed a new plan to find her. Perhaps he should follow Sam for a while. Sam didn't leave him alone for the next week, perhaps because she assumed he wanted her out of the house. Ben had often been criticized for forgetting important details, anniversaries, and appointments. But the most significant lapse was forgetting Jenna's embryo transfer appointment, his most embarrassing and regretful mistake. They were supposed to meet there at 11 a.m., but Ben had mistakenly believed it was scheduled for a week later. Sam hadn't reminded him because she considered it too important to need reminding, and that was just her way. She simply went alone to the clinic where their child was implanted into the surrogate mother. Throughout a relationship, countless stories are told and promises are made, many of which are eventually forgotten. However, the subconscious often keeps a record of what has been said and can reveal a liar when needed. There is also another category of memories, those so precious that you never truly forget them, no matter how rarely you review them. For some reason, Ben was deeply upset about confusing Sam's childhood with a random serial killer. How was that possible? There was no one to blame but himself, and even he didn't fully understand why it bothered him so much at that stage. What his conscious mind couldn't grasp then, he would later recall, no matter how forgetful one might be, they never forget why they fell in love with someone.